So a lot of people have been telling me that they just can't build their portfolio fast enough. And I'm going to say that is kind of wrong, because that just means you're only looking at a few different strategies. If you're one of those people that are just dollar cost averaging into like the S&P 500 or any index fund over 30 years, you're going to do great, but it's going to take you 30, 40 years to reach that millionaire status. Whereas I like to teach strategies where they're pretty much safe, pretty much passive. You do have to put a little bit of elbow grease into it, but they do work. I've recently put up my public portfolio on my Instagram showing that I turned my portfolio from $35,000 to $71,000 in 1 year. So this is pretty much the strategy that I've been doing. And in this case, I'm going to show you how much money you can make using only a $10,000 portfolio. And then if you wanted to, you could compound it even more, but let's just keep it simple and keep it just at $10,000. And we're going to do this using leaps and the poor man covered call strategy. But before we get into all that, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I do have a course, but don't worry about that. I will teach you everything you need to know right in this video. And then if you wanted to support and if you wanted a little bit more in depth, then you could go back into there. But this is what we are going to do. We're going to jump right into my desktop and we're going to have the option chains up for the SPY. And that's what we're going to do. So here is the SPY. And the next step is buying a leap. So what are we going to do here? What is a leap? I personally say a leap is anything over 1 year, an option over 1 year. Everyone that tells you otherwise, to each their own, but I personally do it by capital gains wise, right? Like if I'm going to be paying short-term capital gains or long-term capital gains. But specifically for this strategy, I might end up paying short-term capital gains anyway. So what is a leap? It is a long-term equity anticipation. What's S? Security. There we go. A leap. So a lot of people could do these out for like 2-3 years, 1 year, whatever it is. I personally, for this strategy, I do around 1 year out. So right now we are trading in November. So what I'm going to look for is December of 2025. So we're going to go all the way down here. See 2025, all the way down here. Perfect. So we're going to pick on December, a little bit over a month more than a year. And what we're going to do is pick a strike price that is in the money and has a delta of like 70 and above. And what is the delta? In the simplest terms, this is the percentage chance that this option play will make you money. That's the simplest way I could put it. So we're going to look for the delta. It's at far right here. And we can look to 75% or 76%. And let's go with the 555 right here. And we're going to buy this for $8,527. And let's put up my whiteboard. So 10K starting point. This is how much we're going to use for one contract. And now that we bought this one contract, what does this mean? This means we have control of 100 shares. And what can you do with 100 shares? You can now write covered calls against it and collect that premium that I've been talking about since forever. If you followed me, I made a lot of videos on this way back in the day. And then I've been going over it a lot on my Instagram and my socials. So what are we going to do? Let's do some daily call options on this. So November 11, here we go. November 11, we're going to go all the way down here. So what are we going to do? Now that we have 100 shares worth of a contract, right? We have control over 100 shares. We're going to do cover calls. So let's just look at trading view. Actually, I don't have all my things here, but I'll do something very basic just to show you what I personally look at. If I could draw some lines. So just from the last 5 days, this is going to be your resistance point, pretty much right at 600, like 599. You're going to have a support line right over here. Support line right over here. And let's just put the Bollinger Band on here. So you could pretty much look at this and you could see pretty much where you kind of could choose where the stock could possibly be. It's like kind of like predicting. So ultimate low 585, ultimate high around 600. But if this is consolidating like what I think it is, we could probably play a little bit closer, but let's just see what we're going to do. And then we're going to go here because we have 100 shares worth of control, right? We have control of 100 shares with that one contract, and we're selling a covered call. What are we going to do? We have to choose a strike price above the current 598. And what do I always look at? I always look at the delta. The delta on a regular covered call, I'd put it pretty aggressive between 20 and 30%. But since we're using an option play, I'm actually going to put it below 20% because the collateral is different. The collateral, instead of having the shares, now you're going to do the leap option. And you have more chance for appreciation with the leap option than you do with 100 shares. And I also don't want to have the headache of potentially selling this leap to cover if the stock price blows past my strike price. So what we're going to look for is less than 20% delta. So again, I would be looking over here at the delta, and you could look at, say, 27%. That's too high for me. 17% sounds about right. And 602. So these are one of the twos that I would choose. But when would I choose this? On market open? No. I usually wait 30 minutes to an hour to pick which strike price I want to do, because for the most part, since we're doing daily options, you're going to have to watch this a little bit. You could pretty much predict on where the market is going from the market sentiment within the first 30 minutes to an hour. So if you start off very green, very bullish, most likely than not, the day's going to end up green, and vice versa. Like, I can't give you anything more than that. I could go into it really in depth, but just for today's purposes, I usually take 30 minutes to an hour to make my decision on what I want to do with the stock price, and then I will choose which strike price I'm going to choose. Because if it's bullish, I'll be a little bit more careful. If it's like green, I'll probably pick the higher strike price. If it's red, I might pick the lower stock price, and we'll go from there. So for this case, let's just go off the deltas, 17 or 10. If you want to be very safe, I would probably go with the 10. If you want to be a little bit riskier, closer to 20%, you could go with 601. I personally probably wouldn't do anything close to the 30% because, again, the collateral is different. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually be very safe with you guys and pick the 10% chance that this hits my strike price. So doing the 10% chance, it's a 602 strike price. And then we'll get a premium of $14. $14 a day. Very small amount, but not terrible. Not terrible, but it's only $14. So for the covered call, you're going to get a premium of $14. And then at the end of the day, as long as the strike price is above the current price, so we chose 601, so you'll end up out of the money, and your contract won't be taken away from you. And if you could do this over the next week, right? So you do this 14 times 5, because there's 5 days a week, you'll make $70. $70 if you could do this for a whole month. So you're going to times that by 4, because that's 4 weeks. You make $280. And then if you have $280, if you could do this again for every month for 12 months, you're going to make $3,360. And this is just off of a 10K portfolio, but you only used 8,527. So if you divide this by 8,527, you made pretty much a 40% gain on your money. You're almost halving everything. So you're making a lot of money. You're building up this portfolio very fast. And again, so let's just say you made that 14 times 5, right? 70 times 52, because there's 52 weeks in a year. And then remember, you still had, so you have 3640. And then, and what is the 10K minus 8527 equals plus 3640? $5,113 left over. And then you could potentially use that $5,113 to do other plays in your portfolio to grow it even more. I personally try to use almost like 90% of my money to always have a working view. I do have cash reserves just in case I need to do anything, buy back anything. But this is an easy way to continuously make money in the stock market. And it's not even that hard. It just takes dedication. It takes blocking out what everyone else is doing and sticking to your strategy. This is what helps me build my portfolio. This is what helped me become this like net worth millionaire. This is sticking to your plan, sticking to what you know best, and keep doing it. But so a lot of people ask me on the other videos, so when would you sell the leap? So, of course, theta is another Greek. Theta is like time decay, and it eats away at the value of your option. So what I would tell you, usually at like 30 to 90 days from expiration date of your leap, I would be looking to sell it for a profit. And you should be profiting, should be in quotations, because obviously no one's a crystal ball reader and knows what's going to happen in the market, but you should be up. You should have made some appreciation. So at the 30 to 90 day mark to expiration, I would try to be selling this option for some profit. And then I would do this again. So even though I sold it earlier than a year, I will still have to pay the short-term capital gains. But at least I'll be locking in profit. I'll lock in all the premiums that I've made up until that point. And then I just do this again and again and again. Like I said, dedication, commitment gets you to the goals that you want to get to. So this is an easy way to make 40% on your money. And then you could start compounding your money over and over again. Keep doing this over and over again. You had one contract, and let's see if you can make more money to get a second contract out there. And then you can pretty much double everything you've made. And it just compounds more and more. And this is one of the easiest strategies that I've learned from people from hedge funds. I've learned from people that are doing it way better than I am. And this is one of the best ways to build your portfolio very fast. And of course, there are tax implications, but I'm not a CPA, so just be prepared to pay taxes when you make a significant amount of money. That's just how the world works. And this is how growing a small portfolio works. So let me know what you guys think about this. Let me know if you guys got questions down below. Check out the course as well. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys very, very soon. Peace.